All right, in this video, I want to talk about how we locate objects in the sky. And this can be done in a couple of different ways. In this video, I want to talk about how we can locate locate objects in sort of our local sky. So we're going to come up with a coordinate system that is relative to our local positioning, and it's not a global coordinate system. So it's really only good for somebody like standing next to you and how you would describe something in the sky, not how you would describe something to somebody on the other side of the globe. Okay, so the first thing that we've got are the cardinal points. So I've got those up here, north, south, east, and west. And this is, again, looking up at the sky. So we've got a circle that represents the sky, and the edge of the circle is our horizon, so where the sky meets the ground. All right, so the first thing that I want to bring up here is something called the meridian. The meridian is a line that goes straight through the sky from the south to the north. All right, and it goes straight through the point at the very tippy top of the sky, and this point is something that we call the zenith. The zenith is the highest point in our sky. It's local to you, so it's the highest point directly above your head. That's your zenith, and the meridian goes from the very southern point of your sky through the zenith and up through the north. All right, so that's the zenith. All right, the next the next thing I want to talk about in our local sky is something called altitude and azimuth. So altitude is how high something is above the horizon. Okay, and we can mark this on our meridian line. So if something is, say, right about here in the sky, nighttime sky, that means it's 10 degrees up above the horizon. If it's all the way up at zenith, we would say it's 90 degrees altitude. All right. If it's sort of high in the sky, about halfway between the horizon and the top of the sky, we would say it's 45 degrees altitude. The next way we describe this sky here is something called azimuth. So azimuth is where we are kind of along the horizon. And if we combine these two things, we can find anything in the nighttime sky in its location. So azimuth starts at 0 degrees is north, 180 is south, 90 degrees is east, and 270 degrees is west. Right. So we can kind of imagine actually like making a grid here of the nighttime sky so that any point in the nighttime sky has an altitude and azimuth point. So let's say I want to do this spot right here. Okay, so this spot right here has an altitude. We can kind of come over to see where our altitude is, and that's altitude of 40 degrees. And I can go down to the horizon and see that I've got a azimuth of 240 degrees. And actually, let me take off, so it's a little bit clearer here, take off these azimuth markings. We kind of doubling up here. So here's 40 degrees altitude and 240 degrees azimuth would be this right here. It would be this point in the local nighttime sky. If I wanted to do something, let's say 180 degrees azimuth and 45 degrees altitude, I'd come over here to the south, which is 180 degrees azimuth, and go up to 45 degrees altitude, and it would be this point in the nighttime sky right here. So this is one way of describing our local sky. The important points here are zenith, the point directly above your head, the north, south, east, and west markings over here, and the angles that correspond to them are your azimuth, and your altitude is how far up above the horizon you are.